my friends, this is Shelley from Koala Knits and Knacks. Thank you so much for clicking on my tutorial. We are going to make this beautiful, beautiful beanie with a braid on it. Now you can add more than one braid if you like, but I'm going to show you how to make this one that I just do one simple braid, and I think that it just looks so beautiful. So if you haven't done this before, it's a technique that you're going to learn and it'll be fun. This is for a 10-year-old, and so you can make this for an adult size just by adding more rows, or you can make it smaller and make an info. Use whatever row counts you want for beanies, and you can follow the same technique. Now, this is a beanie that I made with loops and threads, soft classic acrylic. The variegated one is called Primrose Multi. You'll need to buy just one ball of that, and the other one is just the same name brand, but it's in pink, and you'll use one ball of that and you'll hardly use any of it, so you'll have lots left over. So it's a fun project to make. I use my Addi 46 needle machine, but you can go ahead and use your 48 needle central if you want. And be sure to check out my channel because I have made a beautiful, beautiful scarf that goes with this beanie, and it makes a wonderful set. So check out my channel for that video as well. All right, be sure to hit that like and subscribe and come on over and join my Facebook group. But for now, get your supplies ready and let's get started. All right, friends. If you have your 46 needle machine or your 48 needle machine set up, we're going to make our youth beanie, okay? Youth size beanie, which is 120 rows. That's how I make the youth ones. Adult ones, I do 140. But we're going to put our last white and our first black needle in line with our yarn feeder, and we're going to cast on. So we're going to go behind that first black, in front, behind, and in front, all the way around. Now you notice that my machine clicked several needles in. That's because the last time I opened it up to change a needle, I didn't line it up properly, but it doesn't matter. It still counts the rows evenly and correctly. It just counts them a couple needles over, and I'll fix that next time, okay? So we're going to keep going just like that, and before you get to the end, set your row counter to 0. So we're all ready to go. It should be in front of that first, or that last white needle, and you're gonna pop it into your yarn feeder like that and shut the latch, okay? Now, we're going to do the whole inside solid. And so for the inside, I want 45 rows. That's not including the brim. So do your 45 rows, then come back and see me and I'll tell you what we do for our brim, okay? But let's just do one section at a time. So you're just going to keep knitting. I'm gonna go at an even pace. I actually have my yarn between my two fingers like that. I'm putting very little tension on it. I am putting a bit of tension, but very little, okay? And I'm going to just let the yarn do its job. And I'm going at a slower pace because this yarn, although it is loops and threads, and generally loops and threads works in the machine, this one tends to want to tuck stitches every once in a while. So I would rather go at a slower pace with even tension, even speed, and not worry about tuck stitches. And so that's what you got to do. So I'm going to go until I get 45 rows, and then I'll see you back. Okay, so I am motoring along here. Well, not motoring, I'm going pretty slow because I did have one stitch that I had to fix, but I will show you how I smooth out that row after. It's a tuck stitch, and if you need to know how to fix a tuck stitch, then you can find that video on my channel as well. I chose not to do that particular one on this video, okay? So I just bought these clips at Dollarama, like seriously. I seen that somebody else was using them too. I've had them for about a year now, and I've used them time and time again, actually. And I don't know why I have doesn't matter which side you have up, and I just keep pushing them up to the top here when I have difficult yarn, because it just gives a very tiny bit of weight, okay? It's not an overwhelming amount of weight that stretches it too hard. And they are fairly light clips, but just stick that anywhere. But it does still help, and I find that it helps to keep these loops coming down over those little teeth as you're going around, and it just helps a little bit with preventing of the tuck stitches. Okay, so it just makes a bit of a difference. It's not like a foolproof thing for tuck stitches, but it does, every little thing that you try helps. Okay, and so then I'm just going to keep going around, and I'm going slow because with this hat you do not want to tuck stitch, because if you choose to drop the rows for our braid, where that tuck stitch is that you didn't fix, you won't be able to do it. So we're going to keep going around and around and around till we get 45 rows, and then I'll see you back. I just wanted to stop and show you that little trick and remind you that sometimes you have to go slow like this, but it's okay, right? Okay, so we have our 45 rows done, and now I'm going to keep my brim the same color, and our brim is 30 rows. I just want to show you, this is the inside. If you're doing a different color brim, then this is where you would switch your color choice. But I'm going to keep the brim the same color as the inside, so I'm going to do 30 rows more for my brim. So when I get to row 75, we will see you back. So do 30 more rows of the same color if you're doing exactly what I'm doing. Just for my beginners out there, when your work starts to touch your table, and I rolled it up and then I unrolled it because it's way too far now, but when it just begins to start to touch the table, what's going to happen is as you knit, it's going to push up on your sides like this, and you could risk dropping a loop off of these little red teeth because the tension's not tight enough. And if you do that, your roll will start to unravel. So once it starts to touch the table, then just pick it up and just roll it into what we call a donut, just like that, okay? And once you have it all nice and rolled up, what that does is it puts some tension on your needles here, so that just how I was using those clips before to pull this down a little bit, this will now do the same thing. So I don't need to use my clips. Okay, so you just keep rolling it and rolling it and rolling it as much as you need it until your project is done. And that helps a lot. All right, so keep going, and I'll see you again when I get to row 75. Okay, so I'm at row 75. I finished row 75. So I have my inside and I have my brim. Now, when you roll up the brim, it's going to cover the first 15 rows of your next 45, okay? Because we did 45 for the front, for the back, and then we need to do 45 for the front, and we have 30 in the middle for the brim. But again, when you put that brim in half, it's 15 stitches. So it's going to cover the first 15 stitches of your front 45 needles. Or rows. So I'm going to continue doing this for only 13 of those, and then we're going to change to our next color, just because we're not going to see the variegated anyway. So why cut off and change colors for something that you're not going to see? And so we're going to continue knitting for 13 more rows. So we're going to go till we get to row 88. So 75 plus 13 is 88. Okay, and I did it step by step, section by section, just so you could see why the row counts are what they are, okay? So again, before I keep going, we did 45 for the inside of the beanie, then we did 30 for the brim. Now we are going to do, there will be 15 rows of the front that will be covered by the brim, but I'm only going to do 13 of those in the solid color, okay? So I don't see the color break when my brim is rolled up, okay? So 13 rows of this solid, and then I'll see you back. All right, so we have 88 rows completed of our 120 rows. So now we are going to start doing our color changes, okay? So we have 32 rows left, which is perfect. That's how I worked it out, because we're going to do a color change every 8 rows, and that will take us to 120 exactly. And our color change rows will be just the same thickness as what those color changes were on our scarf. So that's what I wanted to make sure happened. So we're going to cut off our tail of our pink. We're going to open our latch. We're going to put that into the center there. You're going to take your new color, put it into your feeder. Then for a jogless join, we are going to swing it back around to the other side of that white needle. And then we're going to knit 3 or 4 needles. Then we're going to grab both ends, the tail that we just put in the middle and the end at the back here. And you see these stitches, how loopy they are? You're going to help that one down underneath that little divider. Then you're going to pull both ends and then you've seen how it's snugged up. Otherwise, at the beginning of all of your rows, you're going to have loose stitches and then snugger stitches, okay? And you don't want that. You want them all to be beautiful. Tuck that in there, and don't forget, we're going to tighten them after we take the project off the machine. I will tell you, there was one time when I made a scarf, and I just closed the ends. And then I thought, oh my goodness, I forgot to do the jogless join things, because before I learned this wonderful trick that I love, I would just always tie them. I wouldn't do a jogless join. I would just tie them while they were on the machine. And that was what my brain connected with. And so I finished my project, had to take it apart, had to take the ends apart and fix it. Okay. So we're going to do 8 rows of this next color. So we have 88 on our counter. 88 plus 8 is 96. So keep going, 8 rows. I'll see you at the end of row 96. Finished 8 rows. So I'm at row 96, done. I'm going to roll this up a little bit here. Okay. We're going to cut off our tail. Open the latch, put it between the last white and the first black. Then we're going to take our solid color, pop it in there. Okay, so these are both between the same 2 needles. We're going to take that one end that we just put in there and pop it around the other side of that white needle. We're going to knit 3 or 4 needles. Then we're going to grab the tail end that we just put in there and the one that's coming out the back. Help that down over the divider and just give that a little snug up. Okay, and we're going to knit 8 more rows. Okay, so 96 and 8 is 104. Go ahead, do 8 more rows, and then if you need to see a color change again, come back and see me. If you don't, do another color change, do 8, and then another color change, and do the last 8, and that should take you to row 120. If you need to see one more color change, I will be back with you in 8 rows. All right, just finished row 104. I'm going to cut off my tail, open my latch, put it between the last white, the first black. I'm going to take my variegated yarn. We're going to pop it in there. We're going to shut our yarn guide. Then we're going to take that end and we're going to bring it around the last white needle to the other side. We're going to knit 4 needles, 3 or 4, whatever you want. Pop that down under the divider and watch how that snugs up when you pull both ends. Just like that. Love it. Okay. You're going to knit 8 rows, and that will take you to row 112, and you finish row 112. Then you change back to the solid color, do a jogless join, and do another 8 rows, and that will take you to row 120, and then see me back. All right, so I've got my last set of 8 rows of solid color done. So I'm at 120. I actually added my yarn tensioner. Sometimes I do that, and I put it on my second tension. I like this little thing. Okay, and now what we're going to do is take our yarn out, but we're going to make sure it stays between that last white and that first black. And you're going to take a long tail, long enough to go around your machine 1.5 to 2 times. Then you're going to cut it off. And now the fun begins, because we want to make sure that we drop the same amount of stitches that we did with our scarf, which is 3. But if, and you know, because this is a circular thing, it doesn't have a flat edge, it doesn't matter which 3 in a row that you take off. So if you know that you have a drop stitch on one row, or a tuck stitch, a stitch that's not gonna unravel easily that you missed and didn't fix, make sure you don't take that row. Choose whichever other 3 rows that you know are perfect. Okay, so then we're gonna just make sure that this one finishes knitting, the 45, and you want to make sure that last one knits. Then you're going to rotate your barrel, and I'm just going to take off one at a time until I get some slack on my yarn tail here. Okay, just like this. And of course we get a knot while we're in the camera, but you know what? Hey, this is real life. So we'll just take care of it, right? I'm not one that always edits out the mistakes, or it's not a mistake, the difficulties, because if I make it look like it's perfect all the time, then, you know, that's not real life, and then you can get discouraged when it happens to you. So I like you to see the things that that go wrong too, or that cause a little bit of you know, extra care, like a knot in your yarn, okay? We're gonna take those off. Now, I'm gonna just decide to leave 11, 12, and 13. So I'm gonna pop that in there. I'm going to grab my stitch markers, so I'm gonna talk louder so you can hear me. I'm gonna grab 3 stitch markers. I'm going to take this first stitch off, making sure that in doing so that I don't let go of those ones, okay? So we'll get that in there. Then I'm gonna do it up, being very careful again as you grab one that you don't take the one off the stitch that's next to it. Grab that one, pop that on there, and I'll take my third one, do the same thing. Oops. Let's just go in at this angle. It's a little bit difficult to do, but you got it. Okay, and then I'll take this one. And if you want to just make sure that one stitch is released at a time, like if that would have been stressful for you, let's say we didn't do those 3, we're going to do these 3, then drop that down so that this is the only one exposed, and that one they're still hanging on the needle there. Put your stitch marker on that one, then do the second one the same way on the third. That way you know you're not going to lose stitches that you don't want to lose. Okay, I'm going to keep going around, taking off all of our loops. Okay, just like so. So go ahead, take off all the stitches from your machine, and then I'll see you back. We have our project off the machine, so we're gonna go ahead and we're going to unroll it so that the inside is out, because we have to fix our rows where we changed colors, okay? So I'm going to find our little pieces here, okay, right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab these 2 tails that are together, just like that. We're going to put our fingers, and I'll explain on the next row, it's easier without this rolling up here, what's happening here. But we're going to put our finger above that row and below the row and push down just so that it holds it in place. Then we're going to give this a tug until you feel it move and slip that row into place. Now, because again, that's curling, I'll show you what's happening in the next one. So I'm going to tie this in a tight knot. Then I'm going to cut this off, not so long. I'm going to move down to this one. You can see, and with variegated yarn, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see that the row is here at the top, and then when it came around, and this is the end, it's down below. So we want this line here and this one here to line up. So when we take these 2 and we pinch and we pull just till you feel it slip into place, then you will see that that line is lined up. I love it. Okay, I always get excited because I just absolutely love doing this. My favorite thing to do in the whole project. I love doing this jogless join. And you know what, when you have 2 solid colors, it's so fun because you see it even better than you do in the variegated. So that's how we fix our jogless joins after we take it off the machine. Just like that, going on down the line. And then you'll see that this is where my tuck stitch was. I'm going to show you next how I fix that, okay? I already fixed the tuck stitch, but you don't want it to look like that. So you're going to turn it the other way so that it's the right side out. We are going to stretch it widthwise and lengthwise all the way down. Okay, just like that. We're going to find where that tuck stitch was, and you know, my machine actually missed 2 stitches, so there was one there and one there, but I fixed them on the machine. But you take your needle or your pick, whichever you want, and then you just put your fingers there and you just go down that row that's right beside it and pull that stitch apart. Just loosen it all the way down to where the row was, where the problem was, and then you go on the other side of that stitch and you put those ones together just like that. And then you go over to this one and you do the same thing. Just takes a second, but it's easy to fix and you'll never know that you fixed it because what you're doing is just lining up those stitches and making them even. So one row's not tighter than the other. See? You tell me where it was. Okay, so if you have any other rows where you fixed a tuck stitch, that's what you do to fix it, okay? And to fix how it looks on the outside afterwards. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go down to this other end where we put our stitch markers at the end here. We're going to leave that, but we're going to go down to this one end. And we're going to pull it through just so that I can give you a visual what this beanie is going to look like before we start dropping the stitches. So this is going to be like this, okay? And then this is going to be our brim. We're going to roll this up. This is going to be cinched, and you're going to have that absolute gorgeous, gorgeous beanie. But we want to make one braid that comes down where our stitch markers are. So to do that, now that you see what this is going to be, we're going to unroll that again. And you don't have to unroll it all the way. You can leave it just like this. And because when this is folded over, it goes part way up this variegated. Because remember, we did, what did we do here? We did 13 stitches on this part of the solid color here, and our brim will go up these two rows. So this is 15. In the middle is 15, and that's what we said folded over and covered. Okay, but I wanted the variegated to go underneath that, only by 2 rows, but underneath the brim, so you don't see the end of the knot that we do. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out these 3 stitch markers. This is so fun. So fun. If you're stressing, don't stress. Go get coffee or something to make you relaxed and know that this is just going to be fun. You see these 3 loops here? We're going to pull them. We're going to pull the rows down. And the first few are hard, not hard, but more because you can't see what you're doing here. It looks like I was going to, there you go. But once you get going, when I did the scarf, I only did 2, and then I had to go back up and find the 3rd. Make sure you have 3 loops showing, because we tucked 3 stitches, and you're going to just keep pulling these out just like this. Oh, I hope I'm in the camera. I will be so disappointed if I'm not. So we're going to keep pulling those down. Let me just stand up and peek in my camera. Oh, we're all good. Okay, and I'm going to just pull these out, and generally you can pull more at a time, but because I want to stop at a certain place, I'm going to be very intentional, okay? So we're going to go down, and we're going to go down. Oh, that's my tail, my yarn tail, so let me get that out of the way. Okay? So bring your yarn tail that's on both ends out here, so that they're not, so it's not in the way here, you don't get it tangled in your braid, okay? We're going to pull that down. Okay, so now we're down. When we fold this up, that will be under the brim. That's what I mean. But I'm going to go a little bit further. So this is 3, 4. So 2 of these rows of variegated. That's 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. So I did 5 rows. You just eyeball it. You go down. I'm going to do 1 more. There's no right or wrong as to how many you go down. As long as when you go down, when you fold this up and you know there's 15 rows here, you have to even count it if you want. 15 on this side, and then, so this is 15 and this is 15. So that's our 30 row brim, okay? And then when you fold it up, you just want to make sure that this is underneath and it's well underneath. So we're good there. We're going to grab our crochet hook. Okay, I got it. And this is a 5mm crochet hook that I'm using, same one on the scarf. Then I'm going to take these 3 loops, put them on my hook, okay? If you drop down a row just like what I did, then pull another one out and start over. You're gonna go into there, because you wanna make sure they're on the same row, and just like that, okay? We picked up 5 stitches, 5 bars on our scarf to make the braid, and that's what I want to do here too. And I'm going to just count and see where we're at here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 5 and 5 and 5, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then I have 2 extra. Okay, you can go down 3 more rows if you want, but I'll show you how I'm going to do it in the end. I'm going to just pull up on that to get those loops a little bit better, and I'm going to take 5 here, and I'm going to push them, hold them with my fingers like this, just so that they're tighter, and I can slip through those 3 loops just like that. Okay, now I've got my first braid started. Then I'm going to pick up the next 5. Make sure they're in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that. Okay, then pull up on this and have them line up, and then you can double check them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put those through that loop that's on your hook. Okay, you've got all 5 there. Make sure that all 5 are there. You haven't dropped one. And I did, see? I dropped one. So that's why you gotta count it. You gotta count it. And it's gonna go through this loop here. Okay, another blooper that I'm not taking off. Got 5 on my hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna pick up the next 5, just like that. And then I'm going to pull that loop open and bring them through, okay? The first couple are always a little bit more challenging, but the rest are easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring it through, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And bring it through. Make sure I have 5 on my needle. I do, on my hook. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm okay if I get to the top and there's only 2 or 3 because it's less bulk than at the end. Okay, and there's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 2 left, which is good. I like that actually. Bring that through. Okay. I'm not going to take this top one because that's my drawstring. I'm going to take the 2 that are under it, bring it through, just like so. And then I'm going to put my stitch marker, one of them, back on, but I'm going to grab a bobby pin because the last time I did it on my scarf, this went through this loop and I had lost it. So I'm going to pull it through there and then I'm going to just attach it to there. And then I know that loop's not gonna go anywhere, okay? And then what we're going to do is we are going to take the inside layer of our beanie. We're going to pull on that string, okay? Pull on that tail. And you're going to smooth out the top as you do so, making a very beautiful edge. If you just pull it and you don't smooth it out, you have a messier look, okay? You don't want that. You want to take your time. You want to smooth it out. You want to make it beautiful. I'm going to cut this off because I do not need all that length getting in my way. Okay? Smooth it out. Pull it tight. You're going to grab your needle. You're going to thread it, and we're going to go around and we're going to reinforce that inside piece, okay? So you're just going to smooth it out like that. You're going to go around that first layer of stitches. See what I'm doing? Just like so. And pull. You're going to turn it a little bit. You're going to grab those stitches. And you're going to pull. You're going to go around again. You're going to go around twice. This is a child's beanie, so I want to make sure it's nice and secure. Nothing's going to come apart, okay? So I went around once. This is once. I'm going to pull on that. I'm going to go around a second time, and then I'm going to knot it off. All right, I've gone around twice, so I'm just going to grab a little piece right there. Going to go ahead and make one knot and pull it down with my thumb. I don't need 2 because I'm going to tie another knot yet. So then I'm going to take this and we are now going to, we're going to cut this off so it's not quite so long and hard to work with. We're going to loosen our bobby pin from there so we don't snag anything. Then we're going to do the same thing to this other end, smoothing it out as we go, making sure this inside tail stays out. And we're going to come along just like that. Oops, see, this did it again. Did it on the scarf too. So you got to find a better way than what I'm telling you to hold this in place. So this, bobby pins, you failed me. This is going to Well, it's still hung on to these two pieces, so that's good. We're gonna grab it again. It slips through that bigger loop, of course. It makes sense that it does, okay? And then we're going to, when we're going around with this piece, so I don't wanna lose that. I'm gonna put this one on just for a second. We're gonna put this piece back on, the one that's on the outside layer, and we're going to go around that top layer of stitches and hold this because it just naturally wants to fall back down, okay? Because the loop under it is much bigger. And we're going to pick up those two stitches just like that. Make sure both are on there, okay? And I'm gonna leave that stitch marker on there just for a second. We're gonna go to the other side of that big loop and we're gonna continue around the top, okay? Just like that. Then I'm gonna pull. I can take this out now. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna reinforce around this one the same way we did the other one. We're gonna go around twice. But when I get back to that loop, which I wanna watch, pulling that tight, coming around, picking up those stitches, right at those loops again. They are nice and secure, but I'm gonna just make sure that my needle goes in through them again, just like that, and pull it tight. That's what it looks like. It is absolutely beautiful, okay? Then we're going to take our yarn tail, and once you've gone around twice, I'm just gonna go around one little more half because I'm not sure if I went around twice or not. Pull it, and then I'm gonna tie a knot in this one. Just like that, pull that down with my thumb. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure that these are a little bit shorter so that you're not fighting with them. You're going to take that inside layer, which is this one here, and you're gonna pull up on it, okay? And then smooth this out with your hand, but don't pull so hard that you're gonna break that yarn because worsted weight yarn actually does break pretty easily. You're gonna tie these two together, just like that. I'm gonna put my hand on the inside. I wanna make sure it's all smoothed out and that end is right up close to the top. I'm gonna give it another little snug, then I'm gonna tie a knot. And one more. Oh, I felt it come closer when I did that last knot, so that's good. I'm gonna cut this off, but I'm not gonna cut it short because I'm gonna tie my beanie to it, or pardon me, my pom-pom to it on the inside. So I'm gonna stick that in there just like that. And through the middle on the inside, pull it out, pull that through, pull that knot through. That's nice and secure. And then we're gonna attach our pom-pom. Look at that, my friends. Isn't that so, so pretty? I love it. Okay, so they can wear it with this on the middle or off to the side. My preference is off to the side. So that's how I'm gonna package it with the scarf. I think that looks better, okay? And you've got your brim over the knot there. And it's absolutely beautiful. This little girl is gonna look like a little angel. Okay, so now we're gonna take our pom-pom. And I am going to take half of those. We wouldn't have needed that other end on the inside because we could have attached this with you put two of them in and then I'll show you. And then you take these other two and you put them a little bit off to the side and then tie them on the inside. But we'll just give it a little extra secure tightness there. And I'm gonna put these two on here. Just like that. Pop that in there. I'm gonna put a little stitch in between the first one and the second one just so that they're not exactly in the same hole. Pull that through. I'm gonna bring that through just like that. These are my first two tails. I'm gonna take these ones. These are both attached to my pom-pom. Pull that up nice and firm, nice and firm. Tie a perfect little knot there. And again, and I'm doing one more. I like to put these on with 3. Then I'm gonna just take this piece here to secure it. Okay, this hat is not coming apart. It is beautifully put together, okay? Now I'm gonna just cut these a little bit shorter and I'm gonna hide my tails. In through the 2 layers, just like that. Pull it through, cut it off, do it to the other 2, and I'll see you back. All right, my friends, isn't it beautiful? Oh, I just love it when we are finished a project and you just have so much pride in it because it's just so beautiful. Like, I love it. And you know, underneath this braid, it's solid there. So like, it's not like, you might be thinking, oh, well, isn't it gonna get cold through the braid there? Well, no, because if you put your finger through there, it's got the other layer. So it's perfect, like perfect, 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 okay? So I like the braid on the side, but of course they can wear it on the middle or wherever they want. If they want to wear it sometime on the back so that it doesn't have a braid, do that too. So options are limited, but or are endless, but there's where I think it looks the best on the side. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Okay, friends. Now you could put a removable pom-pom on there if you want by leaving that opening a little bit wider. Put a removable pom-pom on there so that this is reversible. And then you can add the pom-pom to a solid side if you want. I decided not to do that. When it's a kid's hat, I just want it to stay intact as strong as it can. And that's by tying one pom-pom on like that. So they'll wear it just like this. Okay, so there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned something new. And also look for my scarf, the matching scarf that I made. Oops, move this little thing here. I made that as well, and that is on my channel. You can find it there as well. And you can make a beautiful set. Now you can make this in bigger sizes or smaller sizes. I taught you the technique here. So you can go ahead and do it on an adult size beanie. You can do it on a wider scarf. Do it however you like. But now that you know the technique, I hope that you have fun using it, okay? So thanks again for joining me. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. The link to the scarf will be in the description below, as well as the link to my Facebook group. You know, let me just say a little something about my Facebook group, Koala Knits and Knacks. It is such a wonderful group. We have grown so fast. Like, I'm already over 9,000 people in that group. But I want you to know right off the hop, I don't tolerate any negativity, like 0. If somebody is being sarcastic and you know, just a little bit rude in a comment about something, I will delete it right away, because our group is all positive and encouraging and just cheering each other on. So you're gonna love it. Come on over if you haven't joined it already. Okay, so there you go, my friends. You take care. So nice spending time with you. Thank you for spending time with me. I sure appreciate you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.